So three qualities I think are most important in a teacher would be, firstly, that you just need to be really enthusiastic about your subject. So you get a kick out of communicating that enthusiasm to other people, making it accessible to your student or your students. That's vital. Second, I would say, it sounds a bit funny, but you need to like other people and to enjoy being around them, enjoy talking to other people, enjoy working with children, enjoy the company of teenagers. So again, you're bringing that enthusiasm to your work. And then third, I'm tempted to say patience, which is obviously really important, but perhaps actually a sense of humour I would put as my third quality, because that's been invaluable to me in the classroom over the past decade or so, I think. And it can be a really, really useful way of just cracking open the material for a class, and helping them to get it and building a sense of unity with a class as well. So my best experiences in teaching, there have been lots. I think one example would be a couple of years ago. I was teaching Chaucer's The Nun's Priest's Tale to quite a mixed sixth form group, and some of them really hated it at first because it's hard and it's weird. They weren't used to Middle English either, but we really worked at it, and I tried really hard to make it fun for them and make it silly, because Chaucer is immensely silly. Often students think that something old is going to be really sort of serious and you have to be very po-faced about it. That's not true at all. And they got really into it after a few weeks, which was really satisfying for me to see. And they aced their exam, and we had a party where we all dressed as characters from The Nun's Priest's Tale. So I was the nun, and then we had a priest and several chickens and a fox. And the rest of their year group were quite perplexed, I think, seeing them go about in their costumes. But I remember that group very fondly. And then something about my subject, which my students have found most exciting or fascinating, I think really broadly, probably the moment where the penny drops when you're working on poetry with students. I think that's one of the things my students have found consistently most exciting, because you often see students who think they're not good at poetry. It can be quite intimidating. They've got the idea that it's not for them, it's too hard, they don't really see the point of it. And if you can really work with them, unlocking it for them, and you see the moment it suddenly clicks for them, and they can see that they can do it and it is worthwhile and it's interesting, and they can see the way that the language is illuminating some idea that they might not have thought about before, or they might not have thought about in that way, I think I've seen that be very exciting. And then why did I get into teaching? I trained as a teacher after university. I had a hunch that I'd like it, and I was right. I thought it looked really fun to just talk about books all day and be able to show other people why Shakespeare's so great. And alongside teaching, I'm also a writer. So I've published 4 novels. I've had 4 novels published. My 5th one is out next year. And that's the reason I'm taking a break at the moment from teaching in a school. Before, I for the last 12 years or so, I've been juggling teaching alongside my own writing, and that had worked well. Then I had a baby, and suddenly it was sort of 3 things to juggle instead of 2. And I decided to stop teaching at the end of last year, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to fulfill my book contract or spend any time with my child. So now I'm tutoring alongside writing, which I really enjoy.